We've all had those little and big missteps in our lives. What if they weren't right or wrong? What if they're just choices on the way to consciousness? Welcome to the Missteps of Consciousness TV show with Hayden and Julie.
And we're live. Hi, Julie. How you doing?
Welcome, everyone. Hi. Welcome to the Missteps TV show, our weekly TV show. And hi, Hayden. How are you?
I'm good.
So your hosts are Hayden Glover and co-host is Julie Andrew. And I'm really glad for everyone joining us today. Now, I'm really excited because I met this amazing lady 2 years ago, and she was, even back then, she just inspired me with her openness, her being you. So, this week on our show, we have Becky, and Becky is an international bestseller author, a radio show host, a business and a life coach which focus on big change. You can see I'm reading this.
It's okay, we won't go.
That's too much. She just does too much.
Are you still access consciousness facilitator? That's the
I
one thing
am. I am an access consciousness facilitator, yes, certified facilitator. And the other thing that's not on there is I'm just launching a business as a baby whisperer, because I do lots of access consciousness work and energy work with little beings, and they're just so fun.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Cool.
it's awesome.
Yes, that is awesome. With children, like babies.
Yeah, I have. I was just working on my website. One of my favorite pictures is with a little guy that's about 8 months old.
Yeah.
And he's just like right here and present and yeah, pre-verbal. Absolutely. The youngest that I've worked with is 3 days.
Huh.
3 days up to teenager-ish. But yeah, it's just fun. I love working with kids.
And that's awesome. And Hayden and I were just talking just before we got on the show about being more present in our lives. And I actually heard a phrase about committing your living, committing to your life and committing to your living and committing to your business is actually about you being so present in every 10 seconds, being so present with everything. So when you just said, he was there, he was so present.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it was like, like really committing to your life, and being present. So our conversation today, wow, I'm really excited because this has been coming up. And then when I asked Becky, Becky said this is something she's really choosing. And so Hayden, are you choosing this too? Is being you.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the classes that Dr. Dane here actually facilitates, and he created it, and he's the co-creator of Access Consciousness. And guys, we don't talk about Access Consciousness all the time, but it's, Hayden and I use these tools, and we just find these are amazing. They're not the end and be all, but I just know they have just my life by applying them and using them has just changed my whole life. And more of me is showing up, and I'm being, I'm, I'm being me so much more. And what was coming up this morning, I was talking to the show and asking what the show, where it would like to go with you and like that. And it was like the not you. And I don't know if you heard, this was a couple of years ago that Dane and Gary talked about how we're pretending not you when you're and when you're being you, then you're the not you. That will probably fry people's heads. So yeah, that was really cool. But being you, so Becky, let's talk about being you, and Hayden. Let's talk about being you.
And I don't remember the conversation about the not you, but it makes sense, right? Because to me, so many of the things that I defined as me, or that I pretended like there were roles that I played, or like a costume that I stepped into, or on the stage. And so the idea of not you is really just makes me giggle, actually, because it's like, for me, that's all the stuff that's underneath there that is truly who I be. Even when, and especially when I'm not willing to acknowledge it. It's like if you take all the fluff away, the not me, that's the real deal, right? And it's sometimes a little scary, but always really fun and interesting to find out who that is.
And it's really cool when you're saying acknowledging it, because I know when I'm playing the role of victim, that's the not me. That's when I'm pretending. And it's like when I'm being me, everything's so easy. So it just, everything just drops in and it's just really easy.
Yeah.
But when I'm, not being the not me,
Yes. And I think I said that backwards, right? Because the not me is the artificial.
Yes.
Yeah, the artificial.
Yes. Being me is not perfect. How fun is that, right? Yeah. So the artificial, propped up, contrived stage version is the not me.
Yeah. And it is 6 o'clock in the morning in Australia, and I do have 6 workmen that just, I'm like, have just turned out and started working in front of the house, So, it's quite funny. There's a lot of interference out front right now. So, let's keep talking. Um, so. So Becky, what is it to you about being you?
What is being you? Like, this is a big thing. A lot of people would be like, being me is
Probably that.
literally everything else. It's making other people happy. It's, doing what you gotta do. What is being you?
One of the things that really helped me with that is the idea in Access Consciousness of the Kingdom of We, which I never, I had no frame of reference about that. It was always what you just said, Hayden, about making other people happy or being of service to others or whatever that was like, right? And the idea of the Kingdom of We is that I get to be as important as everybody else, right?
Yeah.
So, because the idea of putting myself first was kind of almost a little more than I could wrap my head around. But the idea that I could be as important, and my opinion and my wishes and my desires could be as important as everybody else, that was really cool to me.
Yeah.
Right. And so the first Access Consciousness event I went to actually was Dane's Being You class, other than the bars. And I remember when he was talking about that, and similar to what you just said, I was like, I don't even know what that is. And people would say, what do you want? And I was like, I don't know.
What is it? Yeah.
I had never allowed myself to have that conversation because I felt like it was ego. I felt like it set myself up for failure or for disappointment. And I had actually decided that I could be content, but that being happy was not even something that I was looking for because I just, didn't want to set myself up for that kind of disappointment. It sounds silly when I say it now.
Well, that is what we're taught, though. Like, our entire lives, we're taught that this is what's being you, is helping literally everyone else, or being in service of everyone else. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, definitely. Yeah, no, we're all nodding our heads. Yeah, we are. We're actually told, helping is the right way. Being in service is, no.
One of the coolest things that just shifted lots of stuff for me, because my whole life has been about being of service to others, whether it was through religion or nonprofits or whatever, right? There was just this always, I would say, I want to leave the world a better place than I found it, right? That's my little soapbox that I would get on, and I would do that, and I would show up for that. But what I loved is when somebody started talking about the word service and how that has the same energy of being a servant and a slave. And I was like, all right. And then the idea that what if instead of that, it's really about what contribution can I be? And I love the energy of what contribution can I be to myself and to other people. And it was a totally different energy than being of service. So that's kind of how I look at things now. Can I be a contribution to either this person or this business or this whatever? And how can I be a contribution to me today? And that is a radical concept for me.
Yeah. So what's the energy? So if someone is saying, well, what is What is that energy instead of being in service? So you've got off service and in service, but what's the different energy on it?
Well, even just
Oh,
feel the energy of, like, just say the word service, being of
yeah,
service, in service, and just feel how that feels in your body.
it's quite
And then just say
Icky.
being in of contribution and see if it feels any different.
Hmm.
Does it feel lighter or heavier? Yeah,
very
Much
that,
lighter.
right?
lighter for me.
And even people who don't really necessarily aren't tuned in with the way their body talks to them energetically,
Hmm.
they can feel the heavy and light. Like one feels like you're carrying bricks on your shoulders, and one feels lighter.
Yeah.
Right? So I go with the lighter one. That's just more fun.
They've got cinder blocks
It's
instead of
really
bricks.
interesting.
Right. There
It's
you go.
it's really interesting in this reality. A lot of people want to help, and I really have been noticing it even more. Like the more people I've been talking to, I use the word and the energy of contributing to people and to me. And what I really have noticed is people want to help. People love just giving and helping. And there's an energy on when helping and giving of that give and take. There's an obligation. Um, if I give you and I keep helping, what's going to come back to me? What's the return? And that's quite for me. It's quite a heavy energy because there is that need of if I give you this, something is going to be taken back, taken away from me, or I'll have to give something back. And that's when that energy of resentment actually starts coming up in a lot of people as well, because then they don't have that, they have a point of view that they want to give, and then that person starts taking and taking and taking, and then the energy of resentment comes up. There's a lot of people, their point of view, they don't have enough time. There's so much going on in their lives. So,
And they
when
may
we
not
talk
even
about
know why they resent it. That it just gets wonky, right?
yeah,
We start having all these projections or expectations about who's going to do what or whose turn it is or where this. I was always big about keeping the scales even because I didn't want to owe anybody anything. And that's like exhausting, right? It's an exhausting way to live to keep track of all that.
and it's really cool you said it's about the expectation or the projection. So it's the projection that the other person has, or the expectation they have. So if you had no projections or expectations, then the energy of resentment, wouldn't be created. So yeah,
Or
cool.
even the one we have, right, where we think we're going to help, right?
Mm.
Well, who are we to know what really helps?
Yeah.
I've been playing with this recently because I do like to help people, and if I have friends who are struggling with something, I am all about whatever I can do, right? But sometimes it's they need to work it out themselves. They need to look at it, right? Sometimes my idea of what's helpful is not at all,
Yeah.
right? So if it's where can I be a contribution? Sometimes the answer to that is keep your mouth shut.
Yeah. Was
Right?
That's so
Yeah, so
cool.
it's been a different way for me to look at that anyway.
Yeah, and that is really cool. Instead of projecting what you believe that person needs from you or you can help from them, it's like, okay, well, what can I contribute? And then, with your awareness, with your knowing, will come up and go, oh, and like you say, keep your mouth shut, or, or walk away. Yeah, it, it is a
Hmm.
really different way to function from. I know when this is something that has really I've been like a bit of a tug of war that I come from I come from a very yogi background, so very yoga and very it is all about helping people. So since 3 years with Access and using the Access tools, I've noticed the more that I actually do it now, I'm really aware when I'm in helping mode or I'm actually in contributing mode. And it's interesting when you said shut your mouth. I noticed I was at a Melbourne Cup, And I kept asking, well, what can I contribute? And I kept getting, shut your mouth, shut your mouth, don't say anything, Julie, shut up, be joyful, be happy, smile. And I'm like, okay, I can do that. No, just shut up. So it's really cool because a lot in this reality, it's a doing reality. So a lot of people get that we have to do, we have to help, or we have to say something.
Hmm.
And I get sometimes sometimes it's just about shutting your mouth up. And just being there, the energy of you being present can actually make a difference.
And actually, that's one of my favorite things. I was part of a huge bars class in Michigan earlier. It's actually the tail end of October, and that came full circle for me in a way that I had not experienced before. Where just being me, like not necessarily saying anything, not doing anything, not trying to fix anything, not trying to direct anything, but just being me and being the invitation for people to choose created such a huge shift for people, right? It wasn't about being a brilliant facilitator. It wasn't about having the right thing to say at the right time. It was just about being with whatever it was, without any point of view about what it was supposed to look like or who was supposed to do what, and just being there. And it was fascinating, and it was so fun to be able to see how just being can create change, right?
Hmm.
And they cannot choose change. I don't. That's the ticket, right? Not having a point of view about what they choose, but just being willing to be an invitation for people is so awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, being that energy. Yep. Yeah, it's
Hmm.
really cool. What were you
And
going to
Yes.
say, Hayden?
you can't plan being. I was gonna say like, cause like somewhere you said plan, and I got where like so many people plan what they think they're
Well,
being. Yeah.
you are.
You.
Well, you are when you're being you. When you when you're being you and being the energy of you,
Hmm.
it is you. So
Yeah.
there's no planning comes into that.
Exactly.
Um, so it's
Well, you
really
plan the
cool.
not me,
Yeah,
right?
you
You
do.
don't plan
You,
being me. You plan the not me.
you think
That's
about
the
it
one
for
that has the script.
you think about it for days and months and years, thinking exactly what you'll
Yeah.
do, and the moment shows up, you're like, I don't want to do that. Do something completely different.
Yeah, that is so. But that's so correct, Hayden. I know when I'm being the not you,
Hmm.
the not me.
Hmm.
It's going around, and when it comes up, I go, oh, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
But when I'm being me, anything that shows up, I'm in the question. I'll ask. I'm chaos. I be who I am. And that's pure chaos.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is so cool. Thank you guys. That's gonna be a
It's
tough
also
sell.
cool with that, right? So how brilliant are you that when it comes up and you think, oh, I don't want to be that, right? And how much of our life, my life anyway, even if in that moment I knew I didn't want to, it was scripted. It was rehearsed. I already knew what I was supposed to do or who I was supposed to be. So I just pressed the play button for
Hmm.
whatever I had recorded ahead of time,
Yeah.
right? I pushed the play button, and that's how that was created, and I just kept creating more and more of a facade for people to see, right? What I thought they wanted to see
Yeah.
or whatever, but it was never really about being me.
What they needed to see, you
Yeah.
thought.
Yeah. It was the being whatever they thought that I should be,
Hmm.
right? The not me.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, because that has been my universe for a long, long time.
I know, right? We're good at it. That's,
We're
man, if
very
you
good
find
at
something
it.
you're good at, stick with it.
Everything that
Let's
brings
get her
up.
a award for it. Oh, let's get a Emmy and like for it because we're really good at it.
Where's my $1 million
We're,
checks for
we're
my
brilliant.
acting role? Yeah.
I know we're great actors. My mum said once to me, I was probably as a little girl and older, and my sister used to say, "You are the greatest actress." And I used to take offense of it because I go, "I'm not acting. I'm just in an insane family." But now where I am, I'm like, yes, I was. I was acting. I wasn't being me. I was being the not me, the not you. So yeah, when like that was actually a truth when they were actually saying that to me. Yeah, you're being an actress. Yeah, I was.
How survival. Yes, that's what I'm doing. I'm
Ah,
acting.
ah,
Yeah, I'm acting. So in my whole childhood, I was acting. I was acting out. I get that. But yeah, it's definitely acting. So I'm very grateful for some of the information that my family has given to me because now it actually makes a lot of sense with a lot of the things that I created in my childhood. And did you hear what I just said, everyone?
Created?
Created. I
I did. I
what?
noticed that,
created
right?
my childhood. That's when people hear me that they go, "Oh no," and I go, "Yep, I created with my mum and dad and
Yeah,
with my sister. I created it too."
yeah. Which it's.
And it took me a long time because I thought that was just totally crazy, right? It took me a long time to go, oh, you know what? Yes, I did create
Mm,
that. Cool.
Yep.
And to be able to look at whatever it was and to be grateful and to look at it without eyes of judgment and wrongness, right?
yeah.
And just to be like, wow. Sometimes I think, what was I thinking when I created that, right? But I did create it, and on the other side of it, right, there's a way to be grateful and have value in all of it because it's
Yeah,
who I be.
Yeah.
yeah.
It created who I be.
Yep.
And you can look at it like,
Exactly.
wow, I created all this crap. How cool am I? Look how much I did.
I,
Wow, now what can I create? Like beyond this and going further instead of
Yep.
literally wasting your time creating crap.
Yep.
You know?
right,
And
because what if that's
how?
really a demonstration of your potency, right?
Yeah.
I'm like
Yeah.
all that and a bag of
That's what
chips
I'm
if I can
saying.
create that.
Yeah. Well, if you've created so much shit, like in my world, I've created so much shit. So if I can create that, I can create beyond that, and I
Mm,
can
Yep.
create so much more and greater. And so, yeah, like you said, it's our potency. When you go into the wrongness and you create it as a problem. Money stuff was coming up for me, and I was creating. I get I am really starting to getting it that I was creating it as a problem. I was creating it as a money problem. And when I went, well, what can I create now? What would I like to create now? What would be fun? And so you have a different choice to create something different. And it's like when you start getting that you are creating it, you can uncreate it and you can create something so different. It is that simple.
yeah.
It sounded ridiculous when I first heard it because I was like, you haven't seen my life or you wouldn't say that, right? And I get straight because people said I created it. I was like, I did not. Okay, so maybe. Yes.
Maybe so.
And if I could create all that again, gosh, what if I put some consciousness to it and some mindfulness and look at what I choose to create? Oh my gosh, right? That's like that's just fun and radical and how big and expansive. Like we're such creators of magnitude. If we use it for us instead of against us,
Mm,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, that's the tip. That's the tip. Thanks. So if we use it for us, not against us, wow. I
It,
Yeah.
look at what we can all create with that.
it gets a lot easier as well because we're not using like 90% of ourselves to fight against ourselves in every moment of our being and day. Yeah.
We're so cute, right?
I know.
Somewhere along the line we thought that was a good idea.
I sounded like a
I
robot.
still,
Oh, go ahead.
I actually recall being with you 2 years ago, Becky, in a class in Noosa. And, I really recall how open you were, how vulnerable that you were willing to be in front of, it was live stream. So, you had over 1,000 people on live stream and you had 100 people in the class. And for you to be so open and so vulnerable, can you talk more about the the willingness of being vulnerable with being you.
That is, that's funny because that's come up a lot in the past since I was in Costa Rica in August for a class, and there's just been lots of stuff associated with that subsequently that's been about taking vulnerability to a whole new level for me. And
Yeah.
it was, and I recently listened to a replay of that class, actually, the one you're talking about, and it was like, oh my gosh, this is for now. How did he know that, right? This was not about 2 years ago. This is about now. Um, Vulnerability was never a comfortable thing for me. And when I was in at the class in Nuso, I had been there. I took 30 days worth of classes, so I didn't know anybody. I was new, and it was actually easier for me to be vulnerable with people that I didn't know at all, right?
Hmm.
Because like I don't know, I'll never see these people again. They don't have to like me. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter what they think of me.
Yeah.
And yeah, right? Because it's like, and so it made it much easier. And I was gifted with so much change, right? The willingness to be, regardless of the fact that I had this nice little story about, oh, well, I'll never see these people again, right? The willingness to be that level of vulnerability changed so much in my life, so much. And so if you fast forward a year and a half or 2 years, and there's things coming up in my life here with people that I either am in relationship with or desire to be in relationship with, or friends or family or colleagues or clients, whatever, people that know me, that see me more than just today, it became a whole different conversation because the I felt more exposed. I felt more vulnerable because they knew me, right? It was just more raw.
Yeah.
And being willing to be that level of vulnerable with people who could, and to let them see all my stuff, right? The good, the bad, the ugly, the whatever, like with just taking the filter off and simply being me. There's a little teensy, uh, part in there. And there was also some level of knowing that I would be okay no matter what, and that the universe had my back, that I could have my back, and that I could actually trust that some of these other people would have my back. And just being willing to be that and know that regardless, no matter what it looks like, no matter if it backfires or if it works out well, and there's a whole piece in there too about learning to trust my knowing about people,
Yeah.
because I always second guessed myself.
Yeah.
And so being willing to trust my knowing, even when what I saw didn't match what I knew,
Hmm.
trusting my knowing. And the more I was able to do that, the more I was able to be in that space of vulnerability. And again, like when I'm willing to be that, oh my gosh, the change, even since August, and so much of my life has changed. And I'm so grateful for that. And it started with the willingness to be that level of vulnerable.
Oh,
Yeah. Thank you for that. So,
yeah.
like, vulnerability and trust is, I know Hayden and I have a lot of conversations with, being business partners and looking at, like, really creating what we desire and what the companies desire too. And it's really trusting. I won't go into it too much, but I trust my knowing so much. On Tuesday, we have the big Melbourne Cup races, and I actually asked Laurent, for energy, space, and consciousness, can my body and I be to pick the winning jockeys and the winning horses? And the two horses were so close. So it was interesting. I said jockeys and horses, and the willingness of really trusting my knowing too. So it was really cool. And so guess what? My knowing, I chose it. And I followed. And so this is probably, it's like really following through with your knowing. So I actually followed through and put some money down. Well, I had some money put down. So again, a lot of people doubt their knowing. And when you doubt your knowing, is actually you are knowing it, but you go to the opposite side of doubting it. A lot of people get a knowing, but what really inspires me with Dane and Gary and Shannon O'Hara, they actually follow through with their knowing. So when they know something and they know someone can hear it or receive it, or they know it's actually going to create something greater, they follow through with it. And it was actually has created such a different universe for me. Because I could went, no, I'm not going to follow through this. This is a lot of money. No, but I actually knew. I just knew and followed through with my knowing. Um, so so that just does create a whole different, reality. And like what you were saying is really knowing that you're knowing, yeah, and then
Oh,
following through with it too. Because a lot of people, like I did say just before, a lot of people know it, but doesn't follow through with it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I'm like, yep, I know this. I'm going to follow through with this now. Whatever, someone, no matter even if no one comes with me.
and can I just
I'm
add?
quite wealthy.
Can I add that
Yeah.
it was really cool to see you do that? Like when you texted me after, it was awesome because you were like, I won a little bit of money, and then we were discussing it.
We
It's
won't
like,
say much.
yeah, you followed your knowing. I was like, oh my god, that's awesome because that was again you being you at that point, and it brought up a lot of where I wasn't willing to be me, and then I was like, oh shit, I can be all this and I can do this, and it just
Yeah.
yeah, the changing the world part, yeah.
Yeah, you're welcome. And it was really cool because it really showed me of where we know something and we don't follow through with that knowing. And it's interesting of people reaction to it or response to it. Like I had someone said, "Oh, you fucking lying!" Like straight out, you just bullshit. And I just went, "Oh," and I actually said under my breath, "Oh, Paw Patrol," because I just had the energy of going into the wrongness of it. And I went, "No, no, I didn't." Like no, and that was really interesting because I went into that. So, like, what I'm like, for me, it really assisted Hayden to go, wow, look. And it showed him where he wasn't willing to follow through with
Mm,
his knowing, and
mm,
a few other people. And then it got me to really show where I still do Paw Patrol. And I know we haven't talked about Paw Patrol, but I've always had that I was a fraud with
yeah.
my knowing, with my ability, even when I was younger. And then even when I had the wellness centres, people came to me and, said, well, what do you know? Like, what is your awareness on this and being a psychic? And so that really showed me. It was like I had this trust in me. I just said to myself, I will never doubt you ever again. I was just like, I wasn't excited. I was so joyful. And everyone else, was, I was so in the Melbourne Cup, but I was in the energy of really choosing to choose my knowing and then follow
Yeah.
through with it. So that was really cool. That's very different than what I haven't been willing and refusing.
Mm,
Mm-hmm.
It's really
mm.
cool. Yeah, thanks.
Awesome.
Cool.
I
That
had
was
one of
really
those
cool.
recently too, and it was about going somewhere and going unannounced, going without setting things up ahead of time. And it was like I just knew. So I had 2 days, and what I had planned to do was stay in Chicago and play for a couple of days. And I just had this knowing to go back to Ann Arbor, Michigan, and I just got it that there was more that could be created there. It would create greater, that there was processing and trades and body and just like something there. And so it, got in the car and drove and showed up and called some people on the way. And I got 48 hours of the most amazing gifts of body work and bars. And I came back a totally different person than the one who made, the person driving back to Chicago was totally different than the one who drove to Ann Arbor. And so it's the same thing. It's, you just know and you take action, and you just trust
You take
that
action,
it will be
follow
exactly what
through.
you require.
Yep, yep. It's that following through with things, taking action, and no matter what other people's point of view about it, you know,
Yes.
you
Yeah.
just follow through, and
Doesn't
that's
matter what their
really
point of view is. It only matters what you know.
what you know.
Because
And
their
that's
stuff is their stuff, not mine. Oh my gosh. What a concept, right?
and that's the empowerment, empowering what you know. So that's the one thing that Access saying, knowing what you know. That's the empowerment. Like and so yeah, it's a whole new game, whole different ball game. Well, we've actually gone over time. So this has been amazing. So Becky, can we get you back on soon for another show?
I would love to. It's been so fun.
That'd be awesome.
Oh, I just love talking to you. And Hayden, this has been so cool.
It's been
So,
really.
It's been really fun, and it's just timing is perfect.
Yeah.
We've been trying to do this for a while, and I'm so glad that it came after the last 2 weeks because just so much has shifted and changed. So yeah, would love that.
What
Would
did
love
we
it,
all
love
know?
it. Just
What did we all
yeah,
know?
I know,
Yeah.
right?
I would say we got a lot of awareness with our conversation, the different things that we have been creating.
Mm.
And by us creating, we've got some really great awarenesses out of it. So this conversation's been amazing. And people that, been, watching it live streaming, and people in the future. A lot of our shows I get is about people in the future going to watch it. Like
Yeah.
more access tools get out there in the world. People keep, like there's still a lot of people don't know about these tools, and I'm like, well, they're here. So this is one of our choices. Are let's do this show, and so people can. It's free. It's anyone can download it and watch it anytime. So yeah.
That's
So
the same way with my radio show, right? There's so much created after the live show, and I usually just ask for the energy of whoever's listening live and in the future, so that I can be whatever contribution I can be. So I totally get that. One, I'm not attached to it. We'll see what comes up. But one of the things that popped up 2 or 3 times during this was about wrongness, and I did a radio show recently with my friends Tom Knapp and Max. Oh my gosh, he's just. If A to Zen.fm, go back and listen to it if you just need a laugh. But the idea of wrongness and how many times we go there, it's just a favorite topic of mine these days because it's such a disservice.
Let's do a show on wrongness, and really the underline of wrongness is fraud patrol. I
Absolutely.
just did the rewrite of Foundation with Gary and Dana Line, and I've just been going through the manual and reading what fraud patrol, and they talk about the underlining of it is fraud patrol. So let's do a show on wrongness and fraud patrol. That's awesome.
Fabulous. Fraud patrol, for people who don't know, is all the ways that we get stop as the message, right? So all the ways we stop ourselves or others try to stop us. Yeah, so wrongness and stop. And I would love it. Yeah, so just let me know, and I would love to come back and play. And thank you so much for having me on. Gosh, it's awesome,
welcome.
And just yay, how fun.
Yeah, well, okay. And what we'll do, we'll make it a special hour show because it is so much information, and especially with
because we can't shut up.
No.
So, and when you come back to Australia, then we could do a live show on the cow. Oh,
that'd be fabulous.
That would be amazing when you come back to Australia.
That might give me a reason to come. Oh my, how fun would that be, right?
Oh my. That'd be awesome.
Cool. Let's do it. Let's play. I'm all about playing. Let's have a play date.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Cool.
All right. Well.
Wait. I'm gonna. Wait. Can I say?
Yeah, Hayden.
I know, I always do this, but I have the one thing. When you said the underlying of wrongness, the interesting point of view that came up was you. So what if you're not the wrongness? That's what I'm saying.
You're not the wrong.
Exactly.
Now you're talking crazy.
I know. And with that,
I knew I liked you, Hayden.
we can finish.
No,
Thank you.
Hayden, it's really cool. It's cool. We don't need to together.
Oh,
Awesome.
It's really cool. All right, well, we'll see you next week. We've got a few more people coming onto our show, so we're really
Fabulous.
looking at it. We've got a live show that I'm getting so excited with Catherine McIntosh in Australia. So that's
She's
actually a
awesome.
month away. So
Not even that.
I'm really, yeah.
yeah.
So that's going to be really cool, and that's actually going to be our first live show that Hayden and I are actually going to be on the couch together.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So
With Catherine, on the couch with Catherine. That's like a...
on the couch with Catherine, that's what we're
Can't
going
wait
to
to
do.
see it.
That'd
She's...
be awesome.
And we're gonna have a
Anytime
live
you're on the couch with Catherine is a gift. So she's amazing.
And we're going to have a live audience. So everyone that's actually in the cafe going to be audience at the time. And the owner of the cafe said any of her books, he's happy to sell her books. So I was just like, amazing. So that's really cool.
How fun. And when is that?
The 31st of November.
Awesome. I will. The 31st?
The 30th.
There is no
Yes.
31st.
The 30th.
Sorry, 30th. I know, that's what she said.
I was like, wow, I don't know how to write that.
Oh, I love when you don't have planning and stuff like that, and it's not, and I
I
don't
know,
go
right?
into the wrongness of myself. Yeah, it's the 30th of November.
How cool.
Oh, that will be fabulous. I will make it a point. How fun will that be?
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
Cool.
Okay,
Awesome.
well,
Thank you so
that's
much
it
for
then,
having me
and
on.
we'll
It's
see
been
you next
fabulous.
time.
Thank you.
Sounds good.
Bye.
Bye.
And that's another week done and another great episode. Hope you all enjoyed it as much as Hayden and Julie did. See you next episode.